Hello class. This video you just watched was a fan-made trailer for the first book called Nightshade by Andrea Kramer. Now I'm going to tell you about her and a little bit about each book. Finally, I will give a quick review of each individual book and then I am going to be done. Okay, we're going to go to her biography. Okay. Andrea Kramer spent her childhood daydreaming while roaming the forests and lake shores of northern Wisconsin. She now lives in Minnesota, but she thinks of her homeland as the Canadian Shield rather than the Midwest. Andrea has always loved writing and has never stopped writing, but she only recently plunged into the deep end of the pool that is professional writing. When she's not writing, Andrea is a professor of history at Macalester College in St. Paul, Minnesota. Now I'm going to show you her books. She has more than one, but I haven't looked into these two, but I've read Nightshade. This is just her explaining of it, but it's a little bigger, so I'm just going to visit this one. Okay, this is the cover of each book. This is Nightshade, Wolfsbane, and Blood Rose. I have all three of them, and they're really good books, but anyway. Okay. Nightshade. The hunt begins. Kaya Tor has always known her destiny. After graduating from the mountain school, she'll be the mate of a sexy alpha wolf, Ren LaRoche, and fight with him, side by side, ruling their pack and guarding sacred sites for the keepers. But when she violates her master's laws by saving a beautiful human boy out for a hike, Kaya begins to question her fate, her existence, and the very essence of the world she has known. By following her heart, she might lose everything, including her own life. Is forbidden love worth the ultimate sacrifice? Okay, that's just a quick thing about Nightshades, and then I'm going to do Wolfsbane. How many trials can love survive? This thrilling sequel to the much talked about Nightshade begins just where it ended. Kaya Tor wakes up in the lair of the Searchers, her sworn enemy, and she's certain her days are numbered. But then the Searchers make her an offer, one that gives her the chance to destroy her former masters and save the pack and the man she left behind. Is Ren worth the price of her freedom? And will Shay stand by her side no matter what? Now in control of her own destiny, Kaya must decide which battles are worth fighting and how many trials true love can endure and still survive. That was Wolfsbane, and then the third book is Blood Rose and The Ultimate Sacrifice. Kaya has always welcomed war, but now that the final battle is upon her, there's more at stake than fighting. There's saving Ren, even if it incurs Shay's wrath. There's keeping Ansel safe, even if he's been branded a traitor. There's proving herself as the pack's alpha, facing unnameable horrors, and riding the world of the Keeper's magic once and for all. And then there's deciding what to do when the war ends. If Kaya makes it out alive, that is. In the final installment of the Nightshades Trilogy, New York Times bestselling author Andrea Kramer creates a novel with twists and turns that will keep you on your edge of your seat until its final pages. A dynamic end to this breathtaking trilogy. And that is just my reading that. And now I'm going to go to my presentation of this. Okay. Nightshades. I read this book about probably 2 months ago, and it's really good. I think it's probably the second best out of the series. It has to deal with Shay, Ren, Kaya, and Shay, Ren, and Kaya mostly. And just the beginning, you find out just a little bit about the keepers and what they what she's been born to believe about them. But after the actual beginning of the book or whatever, Shay was hiking a mountain and he got attacked by a grizzly bear, and Kaya was just roaming the mountain because this is the mountain she has to take do guards or whatever on it, and she saves his life because he was about to get killed, and she killed the bear and saved his life. And Shay saw her turn from wolf to human to save him. And that wasn't supposed to happen, but Kaya didn't think anything of it. She thought that it'd be okay because she didn't think she'd ever see him again. But when she goes back to school in a week, he all of a sudden is there, and her life turns upside down, and she goes through a lot, and then there's a lot to do with the love between Shay and her, and the love between Ren and her. And Ren's love is destined, but Shay's is like a forbidden. And yeah, that's pretty much Nightshade. And then at the end of Nightshade, Shay finds out what he is to the Searchers and what he can do for the war that Kai has been fighting on the wrong side of this whole time. The Wolfsbane book is pretty much about the whole time that Shay and Kaya spend with the Searchers. At the end of the last book was she gets captured. Well, she thinks she gets captured by the Searchers, but in reality, the Searchers save her life. And she spends time there, and she gets to learn their ways and learn what they believe this side of the war is to be and why they're fighting and what they believe. And she gets to spend more time with Shay and find out that she really does love him. And it's not just like the born love. It was like Ray and her had. It was a newfound love. And at the end of that book, the war begins, and they start to go find the other pieces to the sword that helps him because he's the scone and stuff. And yeah, so that's the ending of that one. And the Blood Rose, I just read it, and it's the best book out of all three of them. It's mostly about the war and what Shay and Kaya and Ren and everyone has to sacrifice for it. And it's polling. It's really good. This one just is mainly about the war and everything that they lost and they fought for, and it's really good. Like, if you like romance and mystery and action and a thrilling kind of book, this would be the book for you to read. And that's it. The end of my presentation. I hope you want to read this book because it is worth it. And that's all.